Good evening and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am DM Bluddworth, and as you can see by the graphics, this evening's video is The Creatures of Thule, number 1, for the MYFAROG game system. MYFAROG stands for Mythic Fantasy Role-Playing Game. It's written by Varg, Vikernes, and this is really my first look at The Creatures of Thule Part 1, and from what I've read so far, what Varg has done with this is he's taken the monsters and creatures and the men and elves and such from the earlier editions of the rule book and kind of updated them to the fourth edition stat blocks, and then brought in an artist to do all of the interior art, so that now there are accompanying art pieces that go along with some of these creatures that really does help allow you to create a better mental image of what they're supposed to look like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually walk you through the first part of the two booklet set. So both of the booklets, so the Creatures of Thule Part 1 and Part 2, you can get for free PDF form at MYFAROG.org. And that will be in the link, and you will see that as well, as I'm going through the actual PDF to show it off to you. Now, the reason why, I think that these are valuable is as someone who writes adventures, it is nice to have the creatures in a separate booklet. All right. Just like when I ran and wrote adventures for D&D basic set. All right, so the basic BX set, I had printed out all of the monster stats and kept them on a separate sheets of paper next to me while I'm writing my adventures, and using the rule book here and then those as a really quick reference guide. And the great thing is that these, you can either print them out as PDF, on your own, or within a couple of days or several weeks to come, these booklets will be available on Amazon for under $5 a piece, or roughly $5 a piece. So if you chose to pick them up as soft cover from Amazon, the two booklets, which are over 70 pages of monster stats and descriptions and stat blocks and such, for under $10, along with the rule book, which is also under $10-12 on Amazon. You're really getting an entire game system plus two very valuable supplements for under $20. So you really can't go wrong. So that being said, let's go over and take a look at what the PDF has to offer. So here we have Creatures of Thule, number 1. And the artwork is done by Stefan. I guess this is Cvetkovic. I really apologize if I'm not saying it correctly. And the cover art is by Theodore Severin Kittleson. What I really like is when a game publisher or developer, whatever you want to call them, author, comes out and tells you that you don't have to buy this product. You can get it for free on their blog. All right. And that's, comes straight out and says, do not buy this book. Well, not unless you first know that you can get this for free PDF from the MYFAROG blog, which is MYFAROG.org. And character sheets and much more. So that is your, one place that you can go to get a lot of MYFAROG related materials for free. So let's start seeing how this is broken down. So I really like the way that MYFAROG does categorize its creatures. And so you have animals, poisonous creatures, and giant insects all in its one category. Then you have land lizards and venomous snakes in a separate category, bears and the various types of bears. Birds and winged lizards come into another category, disease spreaders, whether it be giant bats, rat swarms. You have your boars and your various types of boars. You have your sea creatures, and they're categorized all within here. So from dolphins to whales to giant lizards, Basilosaurus. I didn't notice that the last time I looked through. Giant octopi, giant turtles. Then you have your dogs, hyenas, and wolves. You have your cats, going from small to large. You have your riding and grazing animals. You have your nymphs and animated objects, so animated vines, cursed trees. You have your humans and your half-elves. You have your demi-humans and the various forms of demi-humans. And all of these are updated to the stat blocks for 4th edition. Now, you can still use these books or these PDFs for earlier editions of MYFAROG. They're completely compatible. You can backwards compatibility, or you could find creatures from the older books that might not have made it to these books, or just various classes or whatever, and bring them forward to 4th edition as well. So it is both forwards and backwards compatible, what you're going to see here. He gives you some abbreviations very early on, so that you kind of understand these. And these are like special abilities. So Etten Eyes is kind of the same thing for like night vision. They're just that only Etten kind have Etten Eyes. Eagle gaze obviously is the sight of a predatory birds. Electric damage, obviously, like eels and things like that would have electric damage. Immunity is, several creatures have immunities, various types of immunities. Natural weaponry, night vision. Troll nose is a troll's ability to smell, to have a heightened smell in particular, certain metallic metals and such. So they have that, ability to smell out. I can never say the name. It's almost like mithril, let's say. And then weapon. So that's what the W will stand for. We'll start taking a look at some of these stat blocks. So we'll take a look at the monster centipede, since I believe that's what this image is for. And I really like the art style here. The art style, I think, matches the game system and the setting very well. All right, it's a slightly edgier look to it. I like the fact that it keeps it kind of simple with just black and white, and and highlights and such as well, shading, but really clean, really good looking artwork. All right, so we'll take a look at this centipede monster. Its size is a +8. Its weight is approximately 1,100 pounds. It has Etten eyes, which means that it can see see at night, or see in the darkness, I should say. It has various climbing skills. So when it's making a roll to climb, it adds +14 to its roll. So it can virtually climb almost everything. It's only going to fail on a 1, or you set the difficulty level. So let's say the difficulty for this climb is going to be a 16, which is nearly impossible for a human to climb it. This creature is going to be able to climb it with a +14 on the roll. So, very, very well capable in climbing. Its fear modifier is a -6, which means that it is extremely hard for it to become frightened. Its offensive value is a +10, so that's on its attack roll for its melee attack. It gets a +10 to that roll. Its defensive value is you need to score a 16 to hit it with a melee weapon and just a 9 for missile weapons. Because of its huge size, makes it a much easier target for missile weapons. Its dodging is still only a +2. Its damage is a D10 plus paralysis poison, and its poison level is a 10, which is a fairly strong, very toxic poison. 74 hit points, which is a lot of hit points. That's the other thing to remember about this game system is that your characters are not dishing out tons of damage. They're not swinging a sword and doing 18 points of damage with a single hit. They're on average doing a D6 or a D8, and that's pretty much it. And maximum humans that when I've tried to test around, they might have 20 hit points or so. So when they're encountering a creature that has 74 hit points, this is a fight that's going to last several rounds. All right, and the players will be at a real challenge fighting a creature such as this. Well, let's go on. Let's see some more of the artwork and some of the creatures in better depth. So here we have a giant spider. Once again, kind of a very wicked looking spider to it here, and we go down. Now, I'm really impressed by this because, all right, so you have land lizards and venomous snakes, and this is a morning moon raptor. And what I love about this is that it still has feathers on it, all right, which is what you would think of as being this like really small, very bird-like lizard dinosaur. And here it has feathers, which I would have never pictured it as having, this same way. So a morning moon raptors are small feathered predatory dinosaurs running fast and attacking in groups, and they're small. Look, they have a size of a -7, all right, which means they're very hard to hit with melee weapons. Their defensive value is a 10. Their missile defensive value is a 14, which means that you have to roll above a 14 in order to hit it. All right, so that's on a d20, above a 14 to hit with a missile weapon. That's because they are so fast. They dodge at a +7. Don't do very much damage, have very small hit points, so you hit them, they're dead, pretty much. But for the most part, incredible artwork. And a lot of fun to use those in combat. Let me zoom out a little bit. So you have bears. Now, they don't put any pictures of bears here, but they do put in a picture of an owl bear. All right, and that's pretty cool. Here we have a boat beak. And here the boat beak looks like a large wingless bird with a short neck and a powerful boat-shaped beak. I'm sure these are called other things in other games as well. Let's get to basically a pterodactyl. Some of the more common things they did not put pictures in. So this here, at first I was like, that's not a killer whale, and I didn't figure it out until I got down to king lizard. So this is a king lizard. The king lizard is a giant sea creature looking like a cross between a giant fish and a giant crocodile, feeding on all other creatures in the sea, including swimming humans and demi-humans, and even small fishing boats. Avoid at all costs. Now, looking at this stat block, It's a +10 size, 120,000 pounds. All right, has night vision. Very easy to hit with missile weapons. Only need a 6 on a d20 roll to hit with missile weapons. It does damage of 9d6. Has 1,275 hit points. This is a party wipe creature. All right, this is the kind of creature that if you're encountering this thing, it is one heck of a battle you're in for. Now this here is a giant hyena. Good number of hit points. Very large, still 500 plus pounds. Fairly easy to hit with melee weapon. With missile weapons. A little bit harder to hit with melee. You need a 13 with melee and an 8 for missiles. Very tough to frighten with a -3. It gets +7 on its melee attacks. Does d8 damage. 50 hit points. Fairly tough creature. And they roam in packs. Their number appearing... Let's see... I'm actually not seeing what their number of appearing is. At least not here. Moving on down, you have Hyena Dawn. So now you actually get to see what they kind of look like. So it's a mix between a giant rat and a giant wolf. And this is a ruler wolf. And it was always described as being, like having this extremely big head and jaws. Almost disproportionate to the rest of its body. But here's the first time that you actually see a depiction of it, and now you can start to see the difference between this and, let's say, a hyena. All right, much more proportionate, short snout compared to this here. You have your various cats, and they do show a Smilodon. All right, which is pretty cool. Let's see. 400 pounds, night vision, 40 hit points, so still fairly tough. +13, so you need a 13 or above to hit with melee. Only a 9 or above to hit with a missile weapon. So this here is a unicorn. And again, you notice that, nothing really has that like a soft, fluffy, or sprite-like look to them. Everything has a much more harsher kind of look to them that that really does fit with the setting, and the game system as well. This is probably a large game, so 1,000 plus pounds. So your moose, your this could be like a mule deer. Then you have medium game, which runs about 60 pounds, and small game, about 5 pounds. You have a nymph, animated objects, so vines and trees, I believe. And cursed tree. So humans and half-elves. They're treated pretty much the same. Suggested equipment for, and this is for NPCs obviously, for bards, craftsmen, farmers, foresters, hunters, militiamen, miners, stalkers, thugs, and tricksters. Again, like I said earlier, to have this information in a separate booklet while you're writing an adventure, that way you can use the core book for the actual game mechanics while you're writing, and then you have your side booklets with these monster stats and other creature and humanoid stats on the side. Really will help you, um, organize your ideas and put them onto paper, much better than having everything just in the books. And the images help in you finding what you're looking for a lot quicker. There's a sorcerer. Now, obviously, he does not have this beak. That's a headdress that he's wearing. Um, so his face is beneath this, and then the rest here is a headdress. Pretty cool stuff. Come back out. I think we're coming close to an end. So all the different types of men. So from bodyguards, and these are the suggested equipment that they would have, and again makes it much easier for you to generate encounters. You have your demi-humans, so you have your dwarves, and now you get a good image of what a dwarf looks like in Thule. Then you have your gnolls and what they look like. These are your gnomes. Gray elves. I can go a little bit larger here so you can see better. Halflings. Kind of hard to miss where they were derived from. So these are your high elves. I like the way that they show like the spear points for high elves. Their shields is shaped like a leaf. Even their helmets are detailed, so you see the differences between the different types of elves and the armor and weapons of both men and dwarves and such. So pretty cool looking stuff. I absolutely love this lizard man. Again, much more brutal looking. Really fits to the setting. What else? So you'll see various things. I really like this touch where they show you like this would be like a wood elf sword and kind of like what it would look like. And this looks like the belt buckle. So what would a wood elf's belt buckle look like with little acorns hanging off of it? Just nice small details that really kind of bring the imagery of the setting to life. So as you can see, I mean, there's really a lot in here. Again, a free PDF. If you want to buy it on Amazon, within a week or maybe a little bit longer, you'll be able to get it on Amazon for under $5. Certainly something I am definitely going to purchase. And I will do another video for Volume 2 and go through that. I'll let this one sit for a couple of days. Double check to see when both of these books hit Amazon, and then I'll follow up with part 2 of the series and go through that second book along with you, very much like this one went. So once again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you hadn't subscribed, please consider subscribing. If you have any questions or comments you want to leave them in the comments section. I just want to say that this is a really underappreciated game system. This game system is, as I've said probably several times, and I recently made this statement on Twitter, this is one of my favorite game systems to write for because it just very easy to put an adventure together. There's a ton of lore that is in this one volume. That's the other thing that I really like about this is that there's only one core book. This is everything that you need, including setting, lore, and information. It includes the game rules, and it includes basically your monster manual all in one book. These separate monster manuals that you're getting has the same information that this has, but it just makes it that much more easy for you to access that information while you're writing an adventure. You deal with the rules here, and then in those side little supplements that you have, you can then look up your monster stats and such, so that while you're typing up an adventure of your own, then it just makes it a much smoother process. So really love writing adventures for this system. I have a few already on Drive-Thru RPG that you can easily access through the description of this video and all of my videos for that matter. And I am, because anytime that new materials get released for MYFAROG, it just gets me really excited again with the game system, and I want to go back and start writing some more for it. I have quite a few adventures that I have run in the past. I just have to update them to include the information from 4th edition, and those I can roll out in a fairly quick order. Very short video, very short adventures, usually less than 15-20 pages long, and I'll certainly look to make those available within the next couple of weeks as well. So once again, thanks for joining. Remember, thumbs up if you liked the video. Leave your comments if you have any comments, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And once again, have a great week coming up. I look forward to seeing you on a gaming screen sometime soon. And just keep on gaming and keep on looking at all of these, great, somewhat obscure games that are out there, whether they be OSR or game systems like this, which is not quite an OSR, although it is certainly an old school role-playing game in that it is it draws a lot of inspiration from some of those older games back from the late 70s, early 80s. And in a differentiation from some of the other OSR games, this one draws more from ICE, which is the Middle Earth role-playing game, from Rollmaster, from I believe Harn. Actually, I just take a look. Yeah, Harn Master, Call of Cthulhu, 1st and 7th edition. Dungeons and Dragons, and obviously Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 1st edition, Dungeons and Dragons BX, the Rules Cyclopedia, Harn Master, Middle Earth Role Playing 1st and 2nd edition, Rollmaster 2nd edition, RuneQuest Deluxe edition, Stalker the Sci-Fi Role Playing game, which I have behind me. I have many videos about this game system, including some of the older editions of this as well. And that's where I'm going to attach this video to, is to the to the 15 or so other videos I have as part of a playlist for MYFAROG, so that once you finish watching this video, you can then take a look at some of the other ones to learn more about this game system as well. So once again, thanks for joining. Have a great evening, and as always, keep on gaming, and I look forward to seeing you on a gaming screen sometime soon. Take care.